1, mana 2, mana 3, mana 4. Inspiration, elevation, knocking right at your door.
Aloha mai kako, aloha, welcome to Mana Bomb's podcast powered by Pomahina Designs. It's me, Kulani Davis.
And me, John Hanchett, standing in for Kulani today.
Mahalo, John. Before we begin, it is Mahina Olelo Hawaii, Hawaiian Language Month, and today's word is mahalo. Mahalo means thank you, and it's a reciprocation much like aloha. So today's daily Mana Bomb is you can't force someone to respect you, but most definitely refuse to be disrespected. Our focus: boundaries are a key value that is important to our emotional sustainability and your engagement. What types of boundaries do you have and how do they apply? So I'm going to have our guest speaker share his thoughts on this daily monobomb.
Boundaries has been a tricky one. I would say I grew up with very strict boundaries until my sophomore year in high school. I started messing up. I skipped pretty much a whole year of high school to run around, do things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. And to correct that action, my parents kind of just let go. Said, do what you want. And when I had that freedom to make my own boundaries, I started making the right choices. Started doing good in school, doing good in sports. From there, I went to the military. And in the military, I was in a long-term relationship. And while I was deployed in Afghanistan, I think it was, for a year, she ended up cheating on me. And unbeknownst to me at the time, I had lost a lot of personal value for myself. And in that losing of this value I held for myself, I started shifting these boundaries to allow people in my life that I could control or use as a source of gaining power. And it wasn't until fairly recently in the whole Omana space that I really figured out that this wasn't a source of nourishment at all, but it was actually detrimental to who I was as a person and what I offered as a person in relationships outside of this projected relationship I had with myself. Just drawing this mana from this really unhealthy space. So there was a lot of people that I actually had to cut out of my life.
Wow, that sounds like a huge journey for you, which sounds like it took years. It didn't sound like that was something that happened within the last 6 months. That sounded like something that happened from childhood up into your adulthood. What kind of boundaries specifically have you created to help you or really embrace your self-worth and understanding? And how hard was it for you to create the boundaries as well as enforcing them?
I would say the main boundary I had to set within myself. Specifically, I was letting people into my pico, into my close-knit circle of friends that were just there to take. And I didn't even recognize this. I found value in them needing what I had rather than wanting to be in a relationship, a friendship with me for who I am. It was about what I have and not who I am.
Did you ever find yourself projecting any of that? Because you had mentioned that the relationships and friendships that you had were not reciprocated to you. But did you ever think that maybe it was reciprocated? Maybe you were projecting a certain type of being and way that in essence it was projected back towards you and you're only seeing it as its projection versus maybe how those people truly are?
So I was definitely holding this type of people around me and for sure projecting the same behavior myself. So I was guilty of probably being what these people were to me as I see them as takers. I was definitely that with them or with other people in my life.
So you've gotten to a point where now you're seeing for yourself, you don't want to project that out anymore. But we also have to recognize we have to set boundaries for ourselves not to cross. I'm going to sign off. It's me, Kulani Davis on the islands of Molokai.
And me, John Hanchett, standing in for Kulani.
Aloha!
Aloha!